Hey, welcome back to the shop. This week I've got a collection of large wrenches that I'm going to show you and we're going to get cleaned up. They've got a little bit of local historical significance. But yeah, let's check these things out and I'll walk you through the process because I'm going to do something totally different than I've ever done with these before. Okay, the first wrench, if you follow my channel, you probably don't remember, but I found this, it's called a striking wrench and it's a Williams, 1 5/8". I found this in a toolbox with an estate sale auction haul a couple months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, but I thought I'd start with this one, so we'll start with the smallest. Then recently, I found another one of those, and it is a Williams as well. This one's an SFH 1810. This is an SFH 1811A, 1 7/8", in pretty good condition. Frame here. Okay, now I'll get into my big wrenches. All right, this is the first one here. I cannot find a manufacturer's name on here. It may be underneath some of this grime. We'll have to wait and get this one cleaned up, but it's an 1 13/16". Now, this wrench and this one and all the other ones all came from the same place. I actually bought them at an antique store, but they had been there for a long time, and they gave them to me for, I think it was about 35 cents on the dollar what they wanted for them, but they wanted too much. But anyway, I got a fair deal, but I just thought they were cool. The next one up, we're going to get a little bit bigger. This is a Williams, and I think the rest of all these are Williams. Okay, this is J.H. Williams, and it's the Brooklyn, New York, but the Brooklyn is abbreviated. I'm not sure the age on that, but I think that one's pretty old. Here we go. You see the W in the diamond, that's the Williams. All right, the next one is another Williams. Let me get my tape measure out too. So this one comes in at 20 3/4 inches. It's a model 813. It's got the more modern Williams logo. And this one is 2 3/16". Pretty cool wrench. We're going to get a little bit bigger now. This is another Williams, Brooklyn. This one comes in at 22 1/2". It's an 1 1/2" size. Well, it's bigger than that. Yeah, that's 2 1/2 inches. Oh, you tell me. See, it looks like it says 1 1/2". But there's the Williams Brooklyn logo. That's pretty cool. Another Williams. This one measures a little over 23. It's 2 3/8 on this end and 2 inches on this end. Yeah, I think this is definitely a 2 1/2 inch wrench. But that's a pretty stout wrench. Show you the logo on this. And then the last one is the big boy here. I hope that's all in frame. It's another Williams. It's 2 3/4 inch, single box end wrench. Again, it's the more modern logo. So not sure how old it is. All these wrenches, except for the first one I showed you, supposedly came out of the factory, the old factory at R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company, which is here in town. The R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company was started in 1875 when Richard Reynolds moved to the area from Virginia. This is a picture of one of their early factories that was built in 1916 in downtown Winston. And at this time, R.J. Reynolds was very significant to the economic growth of the city. Then in the late 1920s, they built their new world headquarters in downtown. It's the R.J. Reynolds building, and it was a prototype for the Empire State Building. In the late 50s, early 60s, they opened the Whitaker Park cigarette manufacturing facility, the world's largest at the time. And then in the early 1980s, they built yet another world's largest cigarette manufacturing facility in Tobaccoville, North Carolina, which is about 20 minutes away. It's still in operation today. Most of the old factories downtown have all been converted to a biotech research park with Wake Forest University, apartments, and multi-use facility. It's very nice. I'll tell you what's amazing is, I don't know if it was made this way, but this wrench is bent. And the amount of force it took to bend this wrench, it looks like there's been cheater bars all over it. It's pretty amazing. I guess they used it working on one of the big pieces of factory equipment, and somebody needed to move a nut and it wouldn't move, so they put a big cheater bar on it and bent it slightly. Obviously, I'm not going to try and bend it back. We're just going to get it cleaned up. I'm not going to over restore these, polish and shine them. At best, I'm probably going to use the fiber disc and take this to just a coarse finish, because I don't want them to look perfect and brand new. That looks good, and I know a lot of people were yelling, going, stop, stop, don't do anything else to it. But part of me really wants to get this thing a little bit cleaner. All right, because I haven't decided what I want to do with this, I might just keep cleaning and leave it natural, maybe spray it with some shellac to preserve it. So I'm going to put that one off, and this one I'm going to go ahead and clean up. It's got the more modern Williams logo. This is probably still a 40, 50, 60-year-old wrench. Now it's time for a filter change. Let's see how dirty this filter gets cleaning up one big wrench. All right, I'm just going to be using my die grinder with a coarse pad. I don't know that I'm going to go any finer than that. Again, I'm not looking for perfection or super shine on these, but safety first. So I got my dust mask on. I got the air cleaner on. And I like to wear headphones because this thing gets loud. Well, I say it picked up a little bit of dust, huh? Got to get the inside of the hub here cleaned out. This one doesn't look like it had much use at all. All these corners are really sharp. But I'm going to use my little plastic wheels here. These are 80 grit, and I've got them double stacked, and hopefully I can get in here okay and get all that clean. Now remember, I'm not really going for a overly polished look on these. I kind of like the the variation in the color here, it's staining or original, I'm not sure. But I am going to give it a very light sand with 220 just to kind of smooth everything out. This will just help take out some of the marks from the conditioning pads on the die grinder. I do have a little bit of paint down in here, and I'm just going to clean out all these, the model number, the brand, USA. I'm going to try and clean that out the best I can. All right, those of you that follow my channel on a regular basis, you know how much I like this product, Rust Fix. And when I put this on, sometimes it reacts differently to steel, cast iron, cast steel, pot metal, whatever. But it usually leaves a very dark finish. It's a good primer, but it also, as you can see by the can here, it does a good job treating rust, and it will not allow this piece of metal to rust any longer. I like the dull black finish it puts on there a lot of times. So I've always wanted to try it as just my final finish. So I'm going to spray this with Rust Fix. Now let's just see what it looks like. Now it will take probably 3 to 4 hours for that to turn black. Hopefully it will turn black. So we'll come back and see, and then I'll be able to flip it over and do the other side. All right, I got to tell y'all, I like the way this came out. So as you saw, I went over it with the die grinder, with the coarse pad, cleaned it up. I didn't really take out any of the original, milling marks. Ended up cleaning this up with the Dremel. And then I sprayed it with the Rust Fix. And that Rust Fix does a pretty good job of getting, just a good black finish on here. And then I coated it with 2 coats of just a matte clear paint. So that's going to preserve this wrench well. Obviously it wouldn't hold up if you were going to use this every day, but these are going to be wall hangers. And I like the variation in the color. Kind of gives it that vintage look with some patina on it, but yet I know it's been cleaned up and preserved. All right, so I'm gonna get on some of the other ones. But as usual with a lot of my projects, I tend to get distracted and I put them off to the side and they get buried. And I don't forget about them, I just get interested in something else. But I need to get some of these projects finished up, and I've been working on these old wrenches. And you saw where I cleaned the first one up and I coated it with Rust Fix. So something interesting happened that I wasn't expecting, because I've never let just Rust Fix kind of be the final finish. But check this out. So it kind of, it turned it black in the beginning, and I'm going to try and get the lighting right on this. Let me get my glasses on so I can see what you're seeing. But it really has kind of left it with kind of this golden hue. It's not rusted. I mean, this thing is smooth. It's got the Rust Fix on it, and it's got a couple coats of matte clear on there. But it did kind of leave this kind of golden hue, almost like a rust color, but I like it. So I'm just going to keep doing this to all the wrenches. I think it looks pretty cool. This is a wrench that I couldn't find a brand name on, but it has revealed itself. It's a Billings. It's cool. Remember, we're not going for perfection on this one. I want them to look old. I want them to look used. All right, these are all done. I'm really happy with the way they came out. Again, I'm not sure how it's showing up on camera, but this is the one that I did actually about 2 months ago. And you can see, as I was showing you earlier, how the color just kind of changed from this black to this golden hue, and I really like that. Kind of makes it look old and patina, but it's really not. It's very, very good finish on it. Anyway, so maybe these will change, and if I don't get this video out in the next week or two, if they've changed, I'll update the end of this video. But anyway, these are just really cool. They're all Williams, except for this, which I found to be a Billings. Again, all of these except for, I believe it was this one that I found in a state sale earlier this year, are believed to have come out of the R.J. Reynolds tobacco factory, one of the old plants they shut down years ago. So yeah, a little historical significance to them here locally. This is my favorite one. It's one of the older ones. It's got the old Brooklyn, New York Williams logo. Hopefully that's in focus. Really cool, but I love all the marks on this one. Man, this thing got some use over the years, which is just really cool. And that's what I wanted to preserve on these. I did not want to make these look brand new. I wanted them to, look like they had some use, but yet be preserved. This is another one of the old Williams logos. Brooklyn, New York. So, much older than the style with this logo. All right, the last thing to do is I'm going to get them put up on the wall. Thanks for watching, staying to the end to see my big wrench display here. I had fun with this project. I just think they're really cool little wrenches, and I think they look great up on the wall. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon.